in neurobiological chemistry from University of Florida. She also attended medical school at the University of Miami and completed her residency at Stanford University. She has a great record. She has won several awards, and she has been featured in magazines The Tyra Banks Show, The View, later today. She was also part of the Gator 100s for 2015 and 2016, and she's just amazing.
Woohoo! Yay, happy Field! Woohoo!
Just amazing were the women who spoke before me. I think it's important to take with you their enthusiasm and passion, because if you don't have that, you can't be up here. You really have to have something different that sets you apart. So I think we're waiting for my slides to come up. So let's see if that'll happen. It's ready? It's going in 1 second. Anyway, so what I want to do is put you in a mindset. I want to engage you. And I want you to think about things when I talk. I want you to think about yourself. Since this is the generation of the selfie and me, this is that hour where we can really go deeper into that thought. Oh, it's up. Okay, good. So I don't show up much, but maybe you can read it, The Proactive Paradigm. I'm busy. I'm a professor. I teach at Stanford and UCSF. I still practice medicine. I love to practice medicine. So I disengage. So dermatology or dermatologist is what I am. I am the inventor, and I'll tell you what happened in my story, because it became something we were compelled to do. It was not something we were looking to do. So, okay, go. All right, proactive, what does that mean? Proactive means to take control, to cause something to happen rather than reacting. This was the word of the 90s. Today the word is disruptive. So when we went to get this word, Katie and I had a contract. Katie is my partner, Katie Rodan.
Woohoo!
And we were practicing already in dermatology when we started Proactive, but we had no business sense at all, zero. And we created our products, and that's for the end of this discussion. But when we created them, we went to a naming guy, and it cost for us all the money in the world, $10,000 to get a word. And we told him what we do. We're not gonna spot, treat pimples and chase them around your face. We're gonna treat with 3 medicines, low strength, full face. It's what you do every day to prevent acne. This was unheard of in the year 1990. And this guy comes up with the word proactive. And we went, huh? We wanted Derma Beautiful. We wanted, something pretty. But proactive became an iconic word. All right, so on this journey today, I want you to learn how to jump into the waves and to ride that wave. I want you to feel alive and to be able to go somewhere with what you're doing. But to do it, you're gonna take risk, and when you take risk, you can get hurt, and you can get hurt bad. But as they said before at the panel, it's about that journey that'll get you there. Priorities. So while you're thinking about yourself, we always want to talk about happiness. I want to be happy. I want to be successful. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean your mother said you got to be a doctor? Well, I am one of 4. We all are Gators, and we're all doctors. So did my mother tell us? You bet she did. Do I regret it? Not for a minute. In fact, my sister, the cardiologist, is a year older. My twin is a dermatologist who just passed away last week. And my little brother's an ER doc. And so happiness, studies show, leads to success. But success does not make you happy. All right, happy. So let's go back into a well-being study. Let's go to countries in the world. Who's the happiest? Anybody know what's the happiest country?
Santo Domingo.
Good, good. Yeah, you're all right. Sorry.
Panama.
Panama. And that's true from the June 15 study, so for 37 points. So basically, when you talk about happiness as a country, you look at 5 parameters, and I want you to think about this personally. So purpose, social, financial, community, physical. Purpose. You like what you do every day. You learn or do something interesting every day. The women up here on this panel, they're challenged every day. But that makes life interesting. They're not dumbed down and watching reality TV or politics. So when you're learning, you're doing something every day and you're involved and engaged, you thrive. Number 2, social. Someone's got your back. You're respected. This is important. If you are not respected in what you do, or if your friends are not looking out for you, you could be quite lost. Financial. Well, you gotta have your overhead met. So how much is enough to be successful? In Gainesville, it doesn't take much. In San Francisco, it takes boatloads. So financial is really important. Community, where you live. This is Gator Nation. Great, it's part of a great community. And when you plug in life as you get older, part of a community is who you are. It's how you identify. And physical. If you don't have good health, you cannot go forward. So that is, as a doctor, I can tell you, number 1. All right, so let's put your feet in the water and talk about competition. This is interesting. The numbers say as many as 40% of the jobs out there today are going away to technology. I have a Tesla. I've had a Tesla. What's cool about my Tesla? I have a new app. I can summon it. It will come and get me. It will drive itself. It's kind of scary, but it really is happening right now. So that robot that you see there is thinking about your job. So what's your job today? Because it's all about you, is to see where you are and how you can stand apart, how you can be a valuable contributor to society right now. Now I'm from Waukegan. Leah's just down the road. I'm about 55 miles north on the North Shore, and I'm from a factory town. Waukegan, when I grew up, all factories, when you got out of high school, 1975, 76, everybody got a factory job. 25 bucks an hour. Today that's $114 an hour. That meant pension, health care, your disability, your baseball team. Everything was covered. Your social safety net made you a blue-collar worker with a guaranteed end point. 20, 25 years you were retired. Fantastic. And everybody had jobs. Nobody worried about getting out of school, or if they went to college, about a job in 1975. If you go back to my town right now, Waukegan, the factories have closed. Many were asbestos. Sad. But that whole world is gone. And you're sitting now in the forefront of a different world where there isn't a social safety net. Today, employers aren't looking to give you what they were talking about up there, your pension plan, your medical insurance, et cetera, Instead, they want independent contractors. They want you to be temporary, keeps their overhead down. So therefore, you have to redefine who you are. Uber is the best example. They're all independent contractors. All right, so if you're not a computer, what do you do to beat those guys? Critical thinking. You really must learn how to think. That's what you need to learn here at the University of Florida. You must be collaborative. If you can't share and bring things together, it's not going to happen. You cannot be an island. You need to learn how to communicate. That means the way you write things and the way you speak. Because you can be a great engineer, but if you can't communicate your ideas to your colleagues, you're not great for your team. And then creative. You gotta think faster than that computer, which now will beat you in games. The computer learns. For example, my Tesla, when it drives a road somewhere in Marin, all of the Teslas out there learn with it. It's like the Borg. Creepy, huh? Because they're all learning faster than you and I while we're sitting here. Now, these skills are immensely important. Number 1, character. It counts. You know it in an instant. You meet somebody, you look them in the eye, and you know what you're getting. Character matters, grit matters. You have to stay the course. Anybody read the book Mindset by Carol Dweck? If that doesn't ring a bell, Google it and order it, or Amazon the thing and have it sent to you. This is the book of the moment. It's about a growth or fixed mindset. And there are people who think you just have a level of intelligence and that's it. And there are the growth mindset that says, I can learn and be better and acquire that intelligence. The fixed mindset says, effort is fruitless. The growth mindset says, the more I work, the more I can master. So when you break that down, this is a perfect start point for the entrepreneur. And these other skills, socially, emotionally competent, soft skills, a handshake. Where's Trevor? He's out there somewhere. Went out of his way to pick me up in Orlando to drive here to Gatorland. It's no easy way in from San Francisco. What was that? That was a 2-hour opportunity to have a discussion and learn something. That is an entrepreneur. Take advantage of every opportunity you have. Do it with a smile. Do it with integrity. Follow the list up there. All right, profile of an entrepreneur. Now what makes, a worker bee different from an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a risk taker. And without question, you gotta put some skin in the game. If that's not what you do, you are not an entrepreneur. You gotta go for it. You gotta be adaptive. From the people you can see up here, nothing's really a straight line. I went to school doing something, but then I ended up doing something else. And so you have to be ready to move and adapt. And with that, you have to be persistent. Because as things fall through, you can give up, which most people do. They stop. I'm done. So many people have said to me, I could have invented Proactive. And I said, why didn't you? Because they stopped. Great ideas, and that was the end of it. Imaginative doer. You gotta think bigger. You gotta get beyond yourself. You can learn how to do that. You gotta be trustworthy. If someone's gonna invest in you and your big idea, but we don't trust you, they won't go for it. And I think for the females, there may be a small advantage here. But trustworthy is something that is vital to the success of a company. And you have to have confidence. That means you really believe in what you're doing. So these are skills that are learnable, but you've got to make the effort. Now, meta learning is something I think the University of Florida should consider. Any deans out there? This is what the coding schools are doing. Yeah, you got to learn basic code. That's, speaking the language. But how do you fix a project? So you learn your basics, but there's no manual for the problem. The problem set is X, it's a real life problem, and they want you to feel the pain. They want you to fail. They want it to hurt. And it's hard work. You have to learn how to learn. With meta-analysis, you look at it, you say, gee, that's not working, I've got to do something else. You got to lean in and take care of yourself, and again, collaborate. Because if you do this in a vacuum, you fail. All right, let's get started. I've got an idea. Maybe right now you're thinking about something that you want to do. Let's test it. For Katie and I, with Proactive, it's a need, not a want. What does that mean? I would like to go to the fraternity ball, and I want to wear that red dress. But I need to look okay. I'm not getting asked out. My skin looks lousy. Nobody talks to me. My self-esteem isn't where it should be. I don't go to school. I don't make an appointment. I'm not okay. So this is a need, not a want. So when Katie and I tried our first project, it was about helping people with a very important condition. Passion. If you don't have passion, no one else will. I guarantee it. And to get that, you have to have an unrelenting conviction in what you are doing. Katie and I were compelled to create the program that we did. We never slept. And it wasn't because it was an exam and we were up all night. It's because we kept thinking about it. And it was all we dreamed about for 5 years. And as we went through that rat maze to figure it out, there wasn't ever a problem. So as you're going up your mountains, you're on the Tour de France and putting in this outrageous effort, you have to enjoy the journey. I think it's important to look around. Those failures we had, it's all part of the book. People have asked, well, what would you have done differently? Nothing. If it failed, I learned something. If we won the game, Katie and I would high five. And when we failed the game, we had each other to console each other. So the journey is what it's all about in the end. So it's not rushing to some pot of gold. Safety net. Yeah. When I was in College, my parents supported me. When I was in med school, I lived at home with my brother. Fantastic. When I went to residency, I got paid nothing, but enough to eat somewhat. So that was my safety net. When we did Proactive, I was a working physician. And so we did this in the nighttime and after hours and any time we could, not in the daytime. But if you don't have a safety net, sometimes you just can't play the game. So that's number one. And when you see somebody like Richard Branson, who has multiple successes, once you get going, you can really fly. It's not about money. And particularly with women, if you start up and you discuss money, we usually tune out. But if it's only about money, you're not going to win. It has to be for a higher purpose. In that case, Richard Branson rules. Explore this next great frontier where the boundaries between work and higher purpose are merging into one, where doing good really is good for business. And that's how Katie Rodan and I run our lives. And I think that's a great start point for most of us. And again, I like books. I think when you read, you get a better idea of what's out there. This fellow, Simon Sinek, has a great book, Start With Why. If you don't know why you're doing something, you can't play the game. So organize your thoughts. And what he says is, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. I have an Apple phone. Most of my colleagues in San Francisco and the Silicon Valley, we all have Apples. We like Apple more than Samsung. In fact, we don't like Samsung. We love Apple. We love Tesla. It's why they do it. And when you're starting your idea as an entrepreneur, you must think in this format. This is why Proactive was successful. Another great book, Chan Kim, Blue Ocean Strategy. There's, in our era of acne, it was about a 250 million sized market, which was small in the year 1993, 4, 5. And there are a lot of players in the acne space, Oxy Kill It, for example, just all these one-off, one-shot therapies. And we came in a blue ocean. We started in a whole new paradigm, which was direct-to-consumer, infomercial. The red ocean, if you go to Walgreens, there's a wall of products and no one knows who you are and how you can differentiate. Going into a Walgreens would have completely failed. So read this book to understand the strategy. The other part is a partnership. Building something from nothing takes commitment, perseverance, and relentless dedication. You will not get there without a partner or team of people around you who believe in something bigger than themselves, who want to be part of the vision you've created. That's an entrepreneur's creed. You cannot do it alone. You need to build that enthusiasm wherever you go and that trust that you can bring it. And a partnership makes this journey a blast. That's, a partnership makes it the best. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, you think of a problem, in my case, acne, your solution, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, how it's gonna work, and you do a business plan, and the value of your solution. You really should, money is important. What is the size of the market? If you're the investor, they start with what's the market size, who are your competitors, again, things you want to do as an entrepreneur, and an easy description of what the company does. It should be your elevator pitch, and what's the size of the market opportunity. The first thing we ask in the Valley is, who is the company strategic to? So, I'm gonna build this platform and I wanna sell it to Google or Amazon. That's the mindset up in the San Francisco Bay Area, versus I'm going to open 20 stores. It's my empire. So if you want investors looking at you, what is your strategic end game? Is it just an app or could it be a company? What's the barrier to entry? And now, because of the web, you can find out who's in your space, who's doing it already, where are the problems they're having, where can I get around those barriers and go over. And of course, if someone's investing in you, they also want to know who else is owning you. Now, an aside for women, and I think this is interesting, has anybody seen this video by Jason Headley? It's not about the nail, or you're gonna have a good time. Write this down, take your picture, your little snapshot, and go out on YouTube. And you will have a blast, because it's really the difference between the female brain and the male brain. What happens in this video is she has a nail in her head, and she's talking, and the guy on the other side of the couch says, but I'm just gonna pull it out. She goes, no, 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 no. I just want you to know how it feels and what it's doing, and it snags my sweaters. And the guy's like, just let me pull it out. That is the difference between a male and a female. And so let's go a little deeper into that. We are not the same. And the difference is fine. In fact, I think really the sadness today is the white male is on the short end of everything. Females are getting all the attention. We're 58% of college graduates. We're getting the funding. It's all female, female. And I think for the guys, that's not fair. I think they need to get some recognition and step up and get more validation. But let's talk about women. We're the caregiver. We have to take care of ourselves, our parents, our spouses, our kids. We got relationships. We make the whole thing work. You pull us out of the picture, it collapses. And we also have this biological clock. The women on stage today have families. That's a big deal. To put it all in and be able to have a family is not easy. So when I was in medicine, there's a hierarchy in my era of male, female, and how the game works. But in true business, it's crazy different. And here's a book you must get, and it's Winning at the Game of Business, Pat Heim. And this was eye-opening for me. Women are different from men when we're in a corporate arena. We generally, and these are generalizations, think about global well-being. We keep power dead even. We play dolls. Nobody wins at dolls. Never. It's not the same for men. I need you from an evolutionary point. If I'm going to survive 100,000 years ago on the savannah, I need the women to work together so that we survive. We feed and raise the children. That's the female brain. That's why it works the way it does. We need to share ideas and be intimate to be successful. We respond to humanity. It's the evolutionary brain, and we're involved in process. We need to understand why I do something before I just do it. And fairness is everything. If it's not fair, we get angry. Men is a whole different mindset. They have to kill the beast and bring it back. It's about kill. It's about the hierarchy. So there's the coach and the captain of the team and all the players below. In a men's world, you wear a uniform. In a men's world, there are rules, but rules can be broken because you have to win. And winning is the most important thing, not the relationship. When the Giants, San Francisco Giants, win a pennant, and then our guy Panda goes off to another team, how could he do that? Women would never do that. But, you know, in sports, it's just a game, so they go off to the next place of power. In a male mindset, winning is all, and confidence and how you present yourself, really completely different from the female mind. Let me give you an example. I am in surgery. I have a lovely nurse. In fact, that's already a female qualification. I have a nurse. And if I say, Trish, you know, may I please have the syringe? She smiles, and we go from there. My male associate says, syringe. Now, if I said that to her, she would steam, she would boil over, she'd get angry. I have to go through the female intimacy dance that we all do. It's natural, it's the way it works. The dentist in the room is shaking her head because she knows what I'm talking about. The male can get away with it, we cannot. So a female responds to a male differently, but the female to female can make serious friction unless we go through our doll dance. So just awareness of how this works will help you in life. So back to help in life. Women need a mentor, and there's resources through the university, leverage them all. They help you with your career, they help you with the psychology. All these support groups they mentioned are not, oh, by the way, they're really the foundation so that you can go into this game and understand the rules. I'm not asking women to behave like men, I'm asking women and men to understand each other so that we can accomplish great things. A little aside from medicine, medicine is changing at the speed of light. It's blowing up. It's blowing up in bad ways, and it's blowing up in good ways. It will definitely be Star Trek. I'm sure I'm going to use a little tricorder and analyze and diagnose. It's going to be amazing. But right now, medicine is in a terrible shape for a physician. And so later we're going to have a few minutes with pre-meds, and we'll talk about how do you navigate in the medical world today. Number one is not to have debt, because the salaries are going to go way down. We will be employed in a tower. So no more the independent doctor who does what she or he wants to do. So healthcare is evolving, and again, that's an hour conversation. But let's go into acne. So a little bit about me. I am a Florida girl, and as you see by the size of my hair, I came off the boat in California, went from Miami to Stanford with my big hair, my orange miniskirt, and my white pumps, and they didn't know what hit them. Stanford, very preppy. So it's khaki pants, button-down shirts, and not at all a Florida mindset. So that was kind of scary. But luckily, Katie Rodan was there from LA, Rhinestone Rodan. And really, so otherwise, what a boring place that was. So nevertheless, great place to learn. So we went to Stanford, and our chairman of the program said to us, get a hobby or you'll be left to treat boring acne and warts. Ooh. Well, he was right. When you're in Stanford, you're learning about epidermolysis bullosa, which sounds like Hermione from Harry Potter. So you're doing Latin and very, very serious skin conditions that you really happily don't see in real life. It was about acne and warts. And at that time in our history, we're talking about 1987 through 93, healthcare was again in transition. Before us, anybody can go to any doctor they want. The insurance covered everything. Imagine a time. And now, suddenly, and in fact, as the Clintons were coming in, it became rationed. You had to have a piece of paper that said severe acne. Without it, the appointment was not paid for, and the medicines were also not covered. No access for acne. So this was a time when healthcare changed, and there was a need, not a want. People still had acne, but no remedy. We looked at the market, and the market was spot treat. Take the highest strength medication, Oxyten, and burn the pimple off. So back to my dentist in the room, that means treating the cavity after the fact. Well, that's not gonna work. You gotta brush every day. You wanna prevent your cavities. And so that's what we did. We invented a new way. But the point is, we were compelled to do this. We weren't going to set out to make a lot of money because, you know, hey, I see an opportunity. It was, there's a need here. People have no access to doctors. How can they get clear skin? This is, in fact, I'll put my mic down, or maybe I can't. Let's see if I'll do this. The most important real estate you'll ever own is right here. This is it. This is your marketing. If this is not okay, you can't come to this lecture today. If this is not working out, you may not be in your classroom. You may not take that test. You may never go on that date. So self-esteem is everything. And this is what compelled us day and night to come out with a solution for this very common but tough problem. We had years of effort. What we thought was a straight line was nowhere near. And we had multiple disappointments. Coulda, shoulda, stopped a billion times. What did we invent? If it was spot kill reactive, it was 3 medicines, low strength, not high, full face, every day, cleanse, tone, lotion, and you suppress or stop the process of acne. That's it. Stay on it, stay clear. That's it. But it was never done before for the masses. If you came into a doctor, they would say use Retin-A full face, but it burns you. You couldn't use it. It irritated so much your skin looked worse than the pimples did. So we had to come up with a base that felt good. It had to smell good. Things that guys, honestly, in marketing or manufacturing or in pharmacy had no clue. But being a doctor in the trenches and understanding the problem, we knew what we needed to invent. So that is the great paradigm that you guys take for granted now, but in 1995 when it launched, this was a revolution. Or disruptive is the new word. The story, again, not a straight line. So Katie and I had this great idea. We spent the big $10,000 for the name, but far less. I think our total investment was, I don't know, maybe $30,000 total. And people have fallen over because nowadays it takes millions to get to, you know, a product launch. But we owned our own formula. It's very important if you're thinking about that. And we had everything boxed up and ready to go to give to Neutrogena. But Neutrogena was playing in the red ocean, in the bloody water of Walgreens, where you have a wall of products and no way to differentiate. It was them who said to us, you need to go somewhere else. You need to consider infomercial. Now, we're Stanford grads. No way. We're not going to go on TV with the Thigh Master. I mean, that was unthinkable. In fact, they said you will never walk the halls again of the Academy of Dermatology if you do something like this. Huge risk, but again, compelled to do something for the masses who could not get clear skin. Now, timing is everything. There are great ideas that don't work out due to convergence or lack of it. We had the right products. We had the right messaging, which is done through an infomercial. Before 1995, and about 93, a commercial was 1 or 2 minutes, and they were changed. The regulation went to 30. That was a 30-minute opportunity in the privacy of your own home to talk about a stigmatizing condition. Wow, fantastic. And so there were only 60 TV channels. Now, there's thousands, so there's no reason to stay, focused on your commercials. So going into DirecTV today may not be as successful. It's very, very hard to launch in this arena 21 years later. All right, celebrities. Yes, we've had them all. They're fantastic. And their only purpose is to channel stuff. The reason you buy is because the person next to you looks great. What happened to you? Oh my gosh, your skin looks beautiful. Not because, name one, Alicia Keys to literally Diddy, who does use the product, made you do it. You did it because you saw someone transform. All right, so Katie and I could have gone and sat on a beach, but we're dermatologists, so we never sit on a beach. And I recommend you not to either. Sad. Sun is not your friend. So, we kept going. Remember, dermatology is hair, skin, and nails. We got the rest of the body to fix. So we decided to make more products. And the company we're with, Guthrie Ranker, rightfully said, we can only have you laser focused on acne, but what about the rest of the body? And so they said, no, do it a different way. So we created systems for the other most common conditions. Same idea, it's about self-esteem. We can really help people. So we got going again, and we went, let's see if I have my timeline, and started the products for Rodan and Fields. Woo-hoo! And there's a few people out there. So basically, to do more, we started with our ideas in '97. So how long does it take to be successful? Decades. Our first launch on the second company, the first company is a standalone, it's doing its own thing, Proactive, was a licensing arrangement, and it continues now. But this was our own company. We launched in '01, we were immediately bought by Estee Lauder in '03, which means you win the lottery, right? Did it again, Lauder, #1 in retail, #1 in bricks and mortar, #1 in beauty and prestige skincare. But it wasn't. Times were changing. They had a reorg at the time. Leonard Lauder has stepped down, and the company was changing, and they were paying attention to their large brands, Clinique and Prescriptives, and the tiny little Rodan and Fields was not on radar. We actually bought our own company back in 2007. And then we launched in direct sales. This was a gutsy move. It's wholly owned by Katie and I. From a risk standpoint, the risk is ours, all ours, to win or lose. And we lost big. We launched in '08 and we failed. Our computer infrastructure, disaster. That was not $12,000. That was more like $1 million gone in a minute. And we relaunched again in '09, and we reorganized our team, and we went through many iterations. And there's a few people in the crowd who actually were with us at the beginning in the prehistoric era. But we kept asking the question, what if? What if we could change skin and change lives? And this time, the money wasn't for Katie and I. What if we can make and create micro-entrepreneurs? And again, it's timing, and it's disruptive. Because it doesn't matter if you went to University of Florida or you went to Drake. It doesn't matter if you're a male or female. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. No excuses. No excuses. Don't give me this, well, I've got this disadvantage. If you go back to the beginning of the mindset slides, if you go back to the beginning on what makes an entrepreneur, if you can capture those skills, so you're ahead of the computer, you can be a micro-entrepreneur. Lori Bush, who is my recently retired, my wonderful CEO, came from Neutrogena, Procter & Gamble, and Nu Skin. And we've known Lori for the 30 years, and she came into our lives when we were leaving Estee Lauder, and she wanted to build the perfect company, the best of all of those worlds, and that she has done it. So we are not a direct selling company, we are a skincare company redefining social commerce. And I think the new word may become something like social entrepreneur. And what we've created now is a disruptive universe, and we're disrupting bricks and mortar. And so stores work, they will always be there, but the way things are on demand and the way they're changing can now all be handled in your handheld device. The way you manage your business, the way we buy things. So the world has changed, my second company has adapted to that, and by taking a risk is on the forefront of that. So there's Katie, and we have tags, decide today how tomorrow looks. But built into everything that Katie and I do is philanthropy. We believe in giving back. We believe it's important being part of a community and then helping that community grow. And I think what I'm most excited about is, yes, it's nice the company is very successful, but it's nice to see what micro-entrepreneurs can do with their success. And they don't run around and buy big Hermes bags. They don't run around and, flash my $1 million checks. That's not how we roll. Instead, it's what have I done for my school? What did I do for my community? Who have I helped? This is the kind of collaboration, this is the kind of goodwill that people can do when they have the opportunity to run their own lives, have their own business, and do good in the world today. So, as a result, I guess I get lots of fancy titles, but I'm going to ask you that question. What if, thinking back over the last hour, because you're thinking about yourself, just you were that someone who decided to go for it? Questions?